Welcome back to the Ajay Effect podcast, where you are reminded that you are never alone on this winding road of life. You are free to show up as your full self. Your whole journey is honored, your struggles are acknowledged, and your victories, they are celebrated. And of course, if it's happening in the world, we will discuss it. Now, before we dive into today's episode, a quick nod to our sponsor, me, Dupe Ajayi. I have built a career in the power of storytelling and marketing for positive change, from roles at Airbnb, ABC News, and Rent the Runway. I've honed the craft of lifting narratives that inspire, but one thing remains. If equity isn't at the core, I won't be. Follow me here at the Ajay Effect podcast and at the Ajay Effect on all platforms. Okay, let's get into it. Y'all, today I want to talk about a word that gets thrown around like it's self-explanatory, like it's just a normal little policy term. The word is affordability. And in 2025 and now in 2026, it's a buzzword, it's a talking point, it's a headline hook. But what I need us to do today is slow down and name what affordability actually means in real life. Because it's not just about groceries being high. It's about the American dream being structurally redesigned into a subscription model that most people cannot afford. I'm pulling from a New York Times Siena poll that basically said what people have been saying in their group chats for years. A middle-class life feels like it's drifting out of reach. And for a lot of people, it feels more difficult, if not nearly impossible, to get ahead. The key point that caught my attention is that the anxiety isn't only about day-to-day basics. Most people can still make rent, put gas in the car, and buy food. The fear is about the long game. It's about buying a home. It's about saving for retirement. It's about healthcare not wiping you out. It's about having a child without financially imploding. It's about education not turning into a lifetime debt sentence. That is what affordability means in 2026. It means the future feels unaffordable. Now, let me give you some numbers because I want us to stop talking about this like it's vibes. In that poll, majorities described education and housing as unaffordable, with education at 58% and housing at 54%. Healthcare came in at 47% unaffordable, and the cost of having a family was 44% unaffordable. And here's the part that should stop everybody in their tracks. 2/3 of voters said a middle-class lifestyle is out of reach for most people, and 77% said it has gotten harder to achieve than a generation ago. That is not being extra. That is a national mood. And the generational divide is loud. The older generation is more financially secure on average. They bought homes in a cheaper market. They have Medicare. Their children are grown. Many of them have pensions or steady retirement structures that simply do not exist for younger workers. Meanwhile, younger people are staring down high rent, high student debt, high childcare costs, and a retirement system that feels like a joke. In the poll, most voters under 65 said they couldn't afford retirement or felt insecure about it. And when respondents were asked whether they can afford the life they feel like they should be able to afford, the youngest group reported the most out of reach and cannot currently afford it. So when those in office say, we're going to make life more affordable, what do they actually mean? Because for most people, affordability is no longer about whether you can survive the month. It's about whether you can build anything at all, whether you can get to the milestones that used to define stability, owning a home, raising a family, saving for retirement, paying for healthcare without fear, and feeling like your work creates upward mobility instead of just maintenance. This is where I want to be very plain. The American economy right now is asking people to perform stability while living without a buffer. The poll included someone who said something I've heard 1,000 times in different ways. Even though I make more than my parents, I struggle more than my parents ever did. That is the heart of it. People are working, they're earning, they're doing the right things, and yet they feel like the floor is thinner. One emergency and the whole illusion cracks. Now, I want to bring in what I always bring in because I love comments. Let me read some. One commenter said, "The beleaguered middle class is getting crushed from many angles," and then named grotesque inequities in wealth and income distribution, but also named something people don't like to say out loud, that when the government subsidizes housing, medicine, education, childcare, and other programs, it is often the middle class that gets squeezed further through taxation and levies, while the wealthy and corporations protect their assets with loopholes and influence. And then they said something that is chilling but not wrong, that with AI increasingly spoofing and manipulating voters, the power of the oligarch class is likely to continue to increase. Another commenter said, "Many are downwardly mobile, out of work, crushed by a rising ruling class of ultra-rich with inherited wealth deploying AI systems in hardware and software to crack the labor class and enrich themselves further." And then they said, if you're an investor, they say it's easy money. If you're an employee, your time is almost up. That's extreme, but it's speaking to a real fear that technology is being used to extract more from workers while returning less stability in exchange. And a third commenter basically traced the decline in quality of life back decades, pointing to tax advantages shifting toward the wealthy and corporations, institutions becoming more dysfunctional, manufacturing being shipped overseas, and then the promise that tech jobs would save everyone, only for tech to automate and eliminate real people jobs. And they ended with a call that I actually agree with. We have to pay attention again. We have to get informed and use the power we do have. Now I'm going to add my lens.